In celebration for the anniversary of Roe versus Wade, the abortion law that was decided on January 22nd, 1973, the New York State Senate signed a bill into law called the Reproductive Health Act. And what this Reproductive Health Act entails is making it legal for a woman to get an abortion, to abort her baby all the way up until delivery, all the way up to 9 months, right before even the day of delivery, basically. That's what this bill was that they passed in the New York State Senate. Now, when they passed this bill, it was a chamber full of women standing up applauding. I mean, this is landmark. This is a landmark bill to be able to abort a fully functional baby, full-term baby in 9 months. Now, abortion, pro-choice people have been saying for years that when they first say an abortion between a couple of months pregnancy, they say, well, it's not even a baby, it's just some cells, some tissues. It's not really a baby. Okay, then they passed partial birth abortion. In partial birth abortion, the baby is a fully formed baby that can live really outside of the womb. It might be premature, but it's a fully formed baby. What they do in that is they take the baby out of the womb and then take scissors and stick it in the back of the baby's neck. Now, they said they want to be able to go all the way up to full term, 9-month baby. So now I want to know what the argument is now. Because, they said it's really not a baby. At first, it was really not a baby. Now it's just a full-term baby. Now, Roe versus Wade was decided based on a lie. In fact, the person that they used to get this bill passed, she admitted before she died that she lied. She told them, and they know that she lied, but they told her to say, I was raped in order to get this bill passed. To say that you were raped, don't say that it was consensual or anything. And they used that story to get the bill passed. Now, before she died, years before she died, she became a born-again Christian, and she regretted that. She said that she regretted it. But you notice they never would put, because it hadn't been that long ago since this lady died. But you notice she has never been on television. They never, as much as they quote and celebrate Roe versus Wade, you notice they never interview her. Like I say, she hasn't been dead that long. The reason they never interview her, because she changed her mind about it. She regrets it. And she says it. Now, she'll get interviewed on Christian shows or any other show, but the mainstream media never would interview her. She said she regretted being used to pass that bill. Now, Planned Parenthood was started by Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger wanted to practice eugenics, and she wanted to get rid of what she calls undesirables. But the undesirables that she was mainly talking about were black babies, black people's babies, black people. She called them nothing but weeds. Now, a lot of black Democrat females don't talk about this. They support abortion. Planned Parenthood has majority of their offices, their clinics, health clinics as they call them, in poor inner city neighborhoods, black neighborhoods. This was done on purpose, people. Now, Margaret Sanger even spoke at a KKK convention. Margaret Sanger did that. Now, when she wanted to practice eugenics, now what she wanted to do was like sterilize black women, because she wanted a perfect, she wanted perfect humans, basically. And black people were considered, in her words, undesirable. So she didn't want black women to continue to have babies. So she wanted to somehow practice some kind of eugenics. But she couldn't sell it to the black people. So she said, we'll get the black pastors to get the message out. Because if you use black pastors and make it sound like, a religious sermon or something, it could easily be sold to black people. Now you notice that even back then, they knew that if they used the black pastor, black people will believe anything and do anything if the black pastor says it. Because she was like, for the uppity black people, the ones that, in other words, the black people that had common sense and education, she knew that they were going to reject it. So she had to say, let's get the black pastors to do this. Now, black people support the Democrat Party 100, just not 100% anymore, but they still overwhelmingly support the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party supports abortion. Now, the reason I want to bring up the one about New York, this bill, because I believe that the main reason that they did this bill is because their targeted demographics are black women. You say, well, why do you say that? Okay, because I think it was in 2011, in New York City, there were more black babies aborted than babies born at all, regardless of the race. More black babies were aborted than all the babies born in New York City. New York City is targeting black babies. Let me tell you an incident that happened when I used to live in New York City. One thing about white Democrats, this is why I despise Democrats, because they're hypocrites, they're racists, and they're liars. Okay, they have convinced black people that Republicans are the racists. But I've been a Republican my entire adult life, and everywhere that I've lived, I have been locally active in the Republican Party. Not one time have I experienced any kind of racism from any of the Republicans that and I've been in different cities working. However, all the racism as far as that I've received has come from white Democrats. And the reason that they show it to me so much is because they find out that I'm not a Democrat. The minute they find that out, they just pull the mask off and because they're angry because they couldn't control me. So they get angry because I'm educated and I know history and they can't lie to me. Now, the first time I encountered white Democrats was in 2008, during the campaign of 2008, and Barack Obama was running. I was living in New York City. And one thing about New York City, and anybody that lives in New York City knows this, you interact with people more because you ride the subways, you walk around, and you eat hot dogs, a hot dog stand here, a fruit stand there. And so people will just talk to you. Well, the main reason they were doing so much talking then, okay, because it was going to be a historical election. They had a black man running. And matter of fact, at this time, he had already won the nomination, and they wanted to win. So white Democrats would approach me. I don't care where I was. I didn't even know these people. They would see me and they'd make a beeline right to me because they thought, okay, she's black, she's a Democrat, and she's gonna vote for Obama. So they I'd be sitting down like on a curb or something, just eating a hot dog, and a white person would just come sit beside me, and they'd just be grinning. You're gonna vote for Obama? And I would tell them, look, I'm not a Democrat. I don't vote for Democrat. And they would get angry with me. Now, first of all, I was a grown woman. But these white people would get angry with me. And then when I would start giving them history and facts, they would want to cut it off and walk away because they couldn't control me. So, but I'm going to tell you this incident about abortion that just really blew my mind. One time, I was at a museum in New York City. I can't even remember the name of the museum. And I was standing in front of an exhibit, minding my own business. This white guy, young kid, well, he wasn't a kid, he might have been in his 30s. He came and stood, I saw him at the corner of my eye. He walked up, he had a woman with him, a girl with him. She sat down on the bench there, and he came and stood beside me. He started talking to me, and about, the exhibit and all. He didn't realize that I knew. He didn't think I would know all the history. So yeah, I started talking and giving him history and stuff. And so he was shocked about that. And then, of course, here we go with the politics. He started it. like during this time, they would always start with me. And when I would tell him that I was a Republican and I began to give him history and facts, he started getting really angry. And one of the reasons I told him that I was a conservative is because I was against abortion. Well, by this time when I said that, he was already angry with me. And he looked me in the eye. This is what this white guy said to me to my face. He says, well, I used to be an inner city school teacher. And trust me, they need to be aborted. That's why we need abortion. A white guy looked me in my face and told me that black kids needed to be aborted. This was in New York City. I have never forgotten that. Then he walked away. So what I'm saying is, I believe that this bill that they just passed in New York City is targeting black women. They want to make sure black women get an abortion no matter what. I saw a documentary of black women being interviewed, and it was very difficult to watch. But they were talking about how Planned Parenthood would talk to them and convince them. Because sometimes, the women, they would go in there and they didn't want the abortion. And the way the white women, most of the time it was white women working in these abortion clinics and these Planned Parenthood. These are poor black women. And they were in tears. It was very difficult to watch. But they were in tears, crying, because they had had several abortions. One woman had had 8 abortions. 8. And she was just in tears because, it was a lot of guilt. And she was saying, they always made me feel it was okay. They talked me even when I didn't want to get one. They would kind of like talk me into it. Now, I'm not blaming the women in the clinic. She's still responsible because, now I don't know how old she was when she got her first abortion. But while she's doing this interview, she's had to be like in her 30s. So it was still her decision, even though they might have talked her into it. But she was just, it was very difficult to watch. She was crying because she said, they made me feel like I should do it and it was okay to do it. Because they were in the neighborhood. See, they had a Planned Parenthood clinics in the neighborhood. Another girl said that she got in there and changed her mind. This was a younger girl. She might have been 18, 19, 20. And she said they talked her into it anyway. And she said as soon as they had, I guess taken the baby, killed the baby, whatever, she said she just started boo-hooing and saying, I want my baby back. But it was too late. But what I'm saying is, I believe that the reason they want to make sure that it's all the way up to the 9th, so that the black woman, or any woman, but I just believe they're targeting black women. Because why would you go all the way to 9 months and decide you want to have an abortion? What reason? So these are the reasons they used, that they quoted in this Reproductive Health Act. They said, well, if the baby's birth will affect the woman's health, then those are the reasons. Now, but health, they had their own definition of what they consider a woman's health. But first of all, it's something called a C-section. Now, I've never had a baby, so I don't know, but I know about C-sections. If a woman's health is at risk at 9 months, why would they have to kill the baby? Couldn't they do a C-section and take the baby out? There's babies that they give C-sections to women way before 9 months, and they put the baby in the incubator, whatever, preemies they call them. But they're claiming this bill is for women if the woman's health is at risk. But guess what they define as health? They define mental health, stress, or economic reason, whatever. So what they were trying to do to make sure that if the woman gets all the way to 9 months, they said, now, you sure you want to have this baby? You don't have to have this baby. How's your mental health? Because I think they want to make sure they get rid of these black babies. Poor women, poor black people. So this bill was celebrated. They lit up the trade building, the U.S. trade building. They lit it up with lights to celebrate this bill passage. You would have thought they were celebrating the World Series or a Super Bowl. But they were celebrating this bill to kill babies. And it's very depressing. And I want these people to understand that God is not going to continue to tolerate this evilness of killing babies. You're celebrating right now and applauding. It was a chamber full of women just standing up there clapping and applauding this bill passage like it was something special. It was one black woman on stage grinning while they were signing the bill, because the governor signed the bill. In fact, he threatened to veto the whole budget if that bill didn't pass, for women to be able to get an abortion all the way up to the 9th month. I know the Bible speaks of evilness in the end times, and I know that we are living in the end times, but it's just when you see it right before your eyes, it's scary and it's depressing. It's very depressing that this is where we are in this country, that we celebrate killing a full-term baby. We stand up and applaud and light up a building in celebration of something like that. It's very sad, people. Have a blessed day.